What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day or night or evening. I'm stealing that from my boy Deluxe. How's it going? I'm Extra Zero. I am your host here on Zero Hour, where I try to bring you all the news that I find interesting, and we can talk about it in or around an hour. And I move my camera around. There we go. Get myself front and center. Hope you're all doing great. And yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about the hobby show in Japan, all those awesome reveals that we got. Talking a little bit about TFCon. We got we got one new guest for TFCon Toronto. That's around the corner. We'll be talking Hasbro yet again. Some of the stuff with the price hikes around Hasbro. Potentially some good news there. Nature is healing. Also, I'm going to be shooting down some BS that I saw. I've seen this news going around about Hasbro issuing a statement about potentially leaving the U.S. I think it's all BS, and we'll be talking about that tonight. But we'll be having fun. We'll be hanging out. If you're watching me here live on YouTube, before we get started, do a few things for me. One, if you like what I'm doing here, hit that like button because it helps me out in the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year and finally get into the YouTube partnership. And it'd be nice to have Restream pay for itself, but no obligation. Again, I got to earn the subscription. So if you like what I do, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, ring that notification bell, because I'll be doing a collection tour update. I've got a buddy coming in for Memorial Day, so I'm currently trying to get the Nerd Cave in order. I got to get my office. My office is a mess right now. I've got my Omega Prime ready to get sent back. We'll be talking a little bit about Omega Prime too, because people are finally getting theirs. So yeah, if you're watching me here live on YouTube, we got a live chat over there. I already see some cool folks in there chatting, hanging out. Don't be a stranger. Say hi. I'll be highlighting your comments throughout the course of the show. I wouldn't be able to do this show without all of you awesome people that tune in each and every week. And if you're not watching me live, leave a comment down below. I do check out the comments left on the replay squad. I don't know why I couldn't say that. And yeah, I like hearing about what you guys have picked up. If you have any thoughts or feelings on what we talked about over here, or you just want to let me know you got something cool, drop a comment. I like interacting with everybody. And yeah, before we get into the news, we're going to do one of my, and before we shout out chat, we're going to do one of my favorite segments of the week, which is and this week's Figure of the Week is a little bit of a different one. We'll be talking about this brand tonight for sure, because there's a little controversy going on with them. But I still think even if this does happen, they are still one of the best values out there, and that's Blokees. I thought it was Blokees, but it's Blokees. So I built the Optimus kit earlier in the year when it was on weird deep discount at Walmart for $15 shipped. And after getting that, I was like, okay, I got the Optimus. I gotta get the Megatron. This Megatron, oh my goodness, guys. If you only get one of these, you got to get this Megatron. And I say that as a big Optimus guy. So what makes Blokees Megatron so cool? Well, first and foremost, you actually build this gimmick with this fusion cannon. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but you can actually pull back and the barrel actually opens up. He's got electronics. Tap the chest with this little Decepticon magnet. It's kind of hard to see on camera. They give you this little Decepticon insignia that plugs into the base, much like Optimus. This just plugs into the base, and you get a nice purple glow on the Decepticon insignia, and the eyes light up. And got his hand in a little odd position here because I've been having him on his throne. Yeah, this thing is, I got this $35. This whole kit, he comes with his throne. What makes the throne awesome is it's not just a hollow piece of plastic. You can actually take the seat off. You can store all the accessories inside. And he comes with a bunch of stuff. He comes with a stand adapter. He comes with his weapons from Transformers the movie. If I can get it out of here. get all this stuff. I kind of crammed it in here just for display purposes. I don't like just leaving parts and totes, and if like stuff has storage, I like using the storage. But he's got a fully posable Energon. I love this Energon mace. This is like super posable, and it holds its position. So it comes with the Energon mace. He comes with his little lightsaber, beam saber that he had in the movie. And unlike the New Age one, this is actually, you get silver plastic there. You got purple plastic, clear purple for the blade. Like I said, he comes with the gun from Transformers movie. If I can get it out of here, there it is. Also, unlike New Age, multiple colors on here. And he also comes with 2 other bonus characters. He comes with Laserbeak. And he also comes with a Crimzeek. Now, I did take Gundam markers to these. So the Crimzeek is just clear plastic, but everything's detented in here. So you can just take a Gundam marker, real careful, wipe off any excess, and he looks perfect. Laserbeak, his eyes, and the little camera cover and the beak, they're all black plastic. I don't know why they kind of just cheaped out there, but they're bonuses. Everything else on Megatron, you don't have to paint him, and he just looks nigh on perfect. He also comes with like 2 extra faces too. So highly recommend this. Only thing that's a little weird about him is like, I don't know why these leg ports open up. I don't know what's up with that. But I also love the fact that he comes with like completely posable fingers, which the Optimus did not have. You actually have to cut the Optimus's fingers to get them to have individual finger articulation. But these, they're like all segmented. I'd love it if like with Soundwave, they just gave an extra pair of hands so Optimus could have fully articulated hands. But really cool kit. I love what Blokees is doing. I don't want to go over, or Blokees. I don't want to go overboard with them because, like, again, space, trying to stay in a lane, but just having the Optimus and Megatron and the fact that they are very affordable and a lot of fun to put together. I had a lot of fun putting this Megatron together, to be honest with you. I did it in an afternoon, and yeah, these things just, they beat, in my opinion, they beat the not the Yellow Park, but the Flames Toys model kits. I mean, they are a little stylized. These are not quite super deformed, but they're chunky. But when you put them together, they feel like action figures. This one thing I will say is he's got some heft in his top. I don't want to say these knees are weak, but these really do feel like high end hefty action figures. They highly recommended. So if you're not into the whole blind box thing, or you find like stuff like these to be too small in scale, and again, you can put these together in under a minute. These take probably about an hour or more if you want to like actually take like a file or an X-Acto and clean up all the sprue marks like I do. But highly recommend the Blokees Action Series figures, and like that Soundwave looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, Blokees Megatron. I got to correct myself. Blokees Megatron is my figure of the week this week, not year. All right, let's say hi to chat. First and foremost, we got Princeton Phalanx coming in saying hello. Always good to see you, Princeton. We got Big N coming in saying evening. Good to see you, Big N. We've got Mario Roca saying hi again, Extra Zero. Good to see you, Mario. We've got Princeton coming back saying it's been a busy week. Been with my wife in the hospital. She had to get 90% of her call. Oh my goodness, Princeton. I hope she's okay. I prayers for your wife, man. I hope everything's all right. And I hope she has a swift recovery. I had a buddy years back that had to have that procedure done, and yeah, it's no fun. So prayers for your wife, man. I hope she has a speedy recovery, and I hope all is well for you. Let's see. Mario saying, I'm also finding Hasbro not existing in the US because it happens in the late years of G1, like in the UK. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We got my dude Larkin in here saying, what's up? Always good to see you, Larkin. We got Sandro coming in saying, howdy. It's Coom. As in Doom. That's probably a typo. If you watch Gronkin on Dogs, I was there on Sunday. And we have the running jokes about the Coomers and the Gooners. And my name on the show on Sunday was the Coom Slayer. So, yeah. All right, let's get into it. We'll start off light. We'll talk TFCon Canada, which is right around the corner, and or TFCon Toronto, which is in Canada, but TFCon Toronto. It's always in Toronto. And we got one more guest added to the roster. And TFCon Toronto is a smaller, more intimate convention, so they typically don't have as many attendees as the two in the States. And Aaron Archer, who's a fan favorite designer who's made some of the most notable figures in Transformers history, he will be there. And I'm guessing that means that Proto Man will be there because the two are typically, they're typically con bros when TFCon rolls around. Proto Man worked with Hasbro in a limited capacity, and also now he's working on the Mega Man comics. So that's pretty exciting, but I don't know for sure that Proto Man will be there. But yeah, typically if Aaron Archer's there, Proto Man will be. And Aaron's a good dude. You can come up to him, say hi to him, get a picture with him, and he's definitely a great person to talk toys with. He'll be doing commissions and offering artwork at the convention. So if you're there, good opportunity to see him, and he'll be there the whole weekend. So now this is where I'm going to talk about this whole thing about Hasbro calling it quits in the US. I've been seeing YouTubers, and again, like I know Drama Tubing gets clicks. Not here. I like to hand out the white bills. I like to look for the silver linings and things, and I like to come at things from a common sense perspective. So Sabertron published this article last Friday. And this did come from the CFO and COO of Hasbro, Gina Getter, and she was answering questions at a JP Morgan conference. And if you don't know, they're big bank, big lender. And so part of that was that she had stated that Hasbro had plans and strategies, and one simply involved no longer distributing products in the U.S. And it goes on to say, while Transformers made in Vietnam, which currently has a 10% import tax, a huge bulk of Hasbro product is still made in China, Marvel Legends, for instance, and that had an import tax of 145%. And again, they're talking tariffs. At that rate, it's basically a ban for Hasbro, since that means more than double costs. Even redistributing added costs among other products, including Transformers, was untenable. And it was revealed that they were thinking of just not distributing in the U.S. or to just not make it. And if they were to continue making the products, they would be sold outside the U.S. Now, I call BS on that, and a lot of that comes from Hasbro's statistics. So I do understand, that there's a lot around tariffs and a lot around, that high tariff rate that was being flexed. And again, we're not going to get into politics. This isn't a politics channel, but this comes from a site called coolestgadgets.com, and it's been a site that's been around for a long time, since the early 2000s. And they even referenced Statista. This is where they got all their information. And in the fiscal year for 2023, Hasbro's revenue was about $3 billion in sales in the U.S. alone, and $5 billion globally, meaning the U.S. accounts for literally 60% of Hasbro's sales. So I feel like a lot of this is just kind of posturing, and I feel like as many cuts as Hasbro has made to their products, and I mean, again, you go back, we were just talking Aaron Archer, you go back to what they were offering during Armada, what they were offering during Revenge of the Fallen, and a lot of the movie lines and the budgets that were there, and they've really cut corners. And I understand that toys were bigger. They had a larger audience of kids. There was more media. There was more interest in toys. But, I know a lot of this is just, one is changes in the market, but two, a lot of it also is the fact that Hasbro has been doing things to keep their bottom dollar as high as possible. I feel like even if tariffs were high and China was still a factor, they would have found a way, because you just don't walk away from 60% of your global customers. To me, that's just common sense and base economics. I mean, I feel like maybe they would have done what they did with Playmates, where now Playmates is doing Power Rangers. They could find success in the Lightning collection, and so they offloaded it to Playmates. Mask is a dormant franchise, and they've offloaded that to Best Action. So I really call BS. I feel like a lot of this is just kind of posturing, and I think that I don't think that this would have happened. I think this is kind of a scare tactic in a lot of ways. And I think also, too, if you really look at where Hasbro is, it would have been a push. When I say where Hasbro is, I'm talking about the CEO, Chris Cox. I think this would have just been their excuse to push for more digital media and to move away from that business if they felt they had a good enough excuse. But it's sad too, because this and I'll put this link in the description. It's an interesting read. When I say this link, I'm talking about what's on this site here, Coolest Gadgets. And again, the two authors have been around for quite some time. Especially like when I saw this one. Yeah. And again, everything's sourced from Statista. And Lark, I don't know that it's really engagement farming on Hasbro's end. I think that a lot of it's trying to get things talked about. I think that one of the other things too that's not in this JP Morgan and Chase thing is that the toy companies are trying to get an exemption from tariffs. And I do think that there should be one, considering that the industry isn't where it used to be. And I think that it would definitely help, but at the same time, it's like, well, I don't like the practices that go on. Like, again, going back to like Hasbro cutting costs and corners, it's like they're basically relying on very, very cheap labor, and there's ethics issues along with it, and I would just. I don't know. It'll never happen, but I'd love to see a complete audit of how their spending breaks down and how much executives get versus the designers and what their budgets look like. Oh yeah, no, I agree. That's why I'm addressing this, is because I saw so many videos like Ron Bon DeJohn, like Hasbro to leave the US. And I'm like, what? Come on, let's use our heads. This is never going to happen. So yeah, the influencers for sure. But, yeah, I feel like if Hasbro ever does decide that they want out on things, it's not going to be all doom and gloom again. Third party exists. We're seeing a big resurgence with Mask, a lot of interest there. And, I feel like if another company got Hasbro's properties like Transformers, especially after singing the praises of Blokees, and I know I've said that before, I don't want to be a broken record, would it really be that bad? Deluxe, I'm always answering your texts. All right, let's before we hop over to regular news, let's catch up with chat. So we got Deceptizar's then popping in saying hello, folks. Good to see you. And also saying, I don't care if they quit. There's plenty of existing toys for me to collect out there already. And yeah, I don't think that the community would go away. I think that you'd still see stuff coming out. You'd see other competitors. I mean, Sectars still exist. RoboForce still exists, and all that stuff's very niche. But I don't think that the hobby would go away entirely. The community definitely wouldn't go away. The garage kits wouldn't go away. We would see a rise in people like Firetox doing full-on figures, 3D printing them. I know Larkin does a lot of 3D prints. We'd see a lot of stuff come out to fill the void in the market for the collectors. So, stuff to consider. And again, don't let them blackpill you. Got Mega T-Rex Raw saying the hour is 0. Good to see you. And Decepticons then saying really want an upgrade kit for the AOTP Triptychon. Yeah, I think DNA is gonna come out with something for that real soon. I mean, DNA. Anytime there's a repaint, DNA is like that meme of the guy behind the tree clasping his hands. I think that'll happen. If not, like before this month's out, we'll probably see it like by next month. And I catch up. Oh, we got Winston coming in saying, what's up, Zero? Sorry, no, don't worry, man. And, on that, I am working on getting a local DMV meetup set up. So the tentative date for the meetup is going to be on the 28th of June. So if you are in the Maryland, Virginia, DC, or Pennsylvania area, we'll be meeting up likely at the Avenue of White Marsh, and I'll put details out as we get closer, as I figure it out. But yeah, the meetups are a lot of fun. T-Man will be there. Parts Former will be there. I'm going to extend an invite to Bolt Matrix and Pake for Life. And it's just a good time to get a whole bunch of people together. Kevin Womack from the DMV Action Figure Society is going to be there. And it's not all just Transformers, but to get a whole bunch of like-minded people together. We get a bunch of tables, put out figures to share, mess with. You can sell figures. It's a great time. I'll be videotaping it. T will be videotaping it. Just to show all the figures and all the people there. Have food, have drinks, and just get to know people in the area, hang out. It's a great time. So if anybody's interested in that, June 28th, and I'll be posting about it on the community tab here, and also on TFW, as well as the Syndicate and DMV Action Figure Society pages. So yeah, always a lot of fun. This is going to be the first one that I'm organizing post COVID. Like we stopped doing them back in 2019 was the last big one, and missed doing them. And I think now that the world's back to normal, I think it'll be a good time, especially take advantage of some good weather. And even if there's not good weather, if there's good weather, I'll do Red Brick. If the weather's not looking so good, I'll move it over to Bar Louie. But either way, it's always a good time. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? See Mario saying, seeing Ron Bondejan, how he talks, and I don't want to beat anybody over the head with politics. I know there's like an elephant in the room with this stuff. But again, I feel like we can just be common sense here, and just I welcome everybody regardless of what you believe. But I want to talk toys. I want to talk the fun aspects. I want to have fun discussions, and the politics. Again, I know they impact the hobby a bit, but I don't want them to be like sense of dread or existential crisis on the hobby. Got Paul coming in. Good to see you, Paul. And with that, let's talk the good news, because first up, again, I know I said we're moving past the tariff talk, but a lot of people were panicking because sites like GameStop raised their prices. And I noticed that Amazon had raised their prices too, up to $27.99. Well, GameStop has not lowered their prices. Amazon is now back to normal on most of their prices for Age of the Primes. So there's good news there. There's another white pill moment. Then again, it looks like prices are going to come down, because if you're going to mark yourself up and Walmart and Amazon are at the regular price point and move back to it, I think everything's going to be A-okay. I think I just lost one of my pages here, but let's get this back up. So, Blokees, little This is the last little bit of bad news. Blokees is going to be increasing their prices effective May 19th. They sent out this email saying, because of recent cost increases beyond our control, we are in the unfortunate position of having to increase wholesale and retail prices. We must take this step so that we can continue to bring you innovative Blokees kits based on your favorite characters. We explored every avenue possible to avoid this step. The cost increase is a bullet we cannot dodge. Rest assured, we remain committed to maintaining the same high standards of quality and creativity that you love about Blokees. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, service@blokees.com. Deeply appreciate your support. So, again, we don't really know what the prices are going to be going up. I'm assuming it's probably going to be 30%. The nice thing about Blokees is that they are already very inexpensive. So if you're looking at a kit that's $5, again, we're looking at like $1.50 increase on those, which again stinks that prices are going up, but still for what you get, honestly. Again, I don't want to say that I advocate for price hikes on them, but for what you get with these basic Blokees is far more substantial than what you got on a core class transformer for $10. So the fact that these are still it'd be like $6 and change, probably at the highest. I don't think that that's a rough pill to swallow, to be honest. And also, too, the amount of stuff that you get with the larger kits. Again, I'm astounded this thing's $35. This is the price of a Voyager, and you get 2 figures with it: the throne, the base, electronics. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but I feel like it's not going to be the worst situation. We got Deceptizar saying, "Glad I never got into Blokees." The blind bag ones, I got more than I wanted to. I really just wanted 3 of them. With them being blind bags, that kind of adds the addictive element to them. But I got Orion, D16, and Sentinel. And also Bumblebee, Hound, the guard guy, and Wheeljack. But I kind of putting a pin in the smaller ones myself. But the big ones, they are pretty freaking awesome. Then we get a assortment with the next rundown for Blokees. Basically we get our next wave here. So you got actually I thought these were all already released with Nemesis Prime, Skywarp, Jazz, Hot Rod, Grimlock, Soundwave, and you got Long Haul, Mixmaster, and Scavenger. So a lot of people are talking about the Devistator kit, and it's coming in you have to do all the blind bag ones, but then there's this kit that comes with the combiner parts, and there's a lot of questions why isn't this going to be released in the US? And I think that it will come out here. Again, you can import these figures, but I think if they sell it here, they probably, because of the fact that Blokees are really, they don't have, I don't want to say they have poor distribution for them yet, but they don't really have established distribution. Now, good buddy of mine, Junkie on Crafts and Builds, he was at a comic shop over the weekend, and he saw a huge display of them there. And, Walmart does have them, but I think with the distribution, I think that they're just going to release it as a set here. The official statement on this is, we're sorry for the inconvenience. We cannot sell in the U.S. because the copyright holder does not allow it, that being Hasbro. We are an official channel, so we must strictly abide by the requirements of the copyright holder. Thank you for your understanding. We'll launch more products as much as possible with authorization. So stay tuned. Best regards, Blokees. Now, it used to be that if a figure combined or transformed, well, not even if it combined, if it transformed in a way, Hasbro wouldn't allow it, even for officially licensed stuff. And it was a big deal back when they did the Flames Toys Victory Saber kit, because the Victory Leo actually transformed a little bit to combine with Star Saber. I think that the whole Hasbro not allowing it is that it's kind of like an add-on kit. And I think that they don't want customer confusion, right? So if they sold this in the US and, you know, the packaging is not explicitly in English, even though like what I can see here is it's clear as day, it's combining accessory. I think that they don't want market confusion, and I think that they don't want people to see this on a shelf and think they're getting a whole Devastator, even though, again, it's, you know, parts. I think that they'll probably ultimately sell a Blokees Devastator on its own here, or they'll sell it, you know, all the parts together as a bundle on retailers. That's my theory on it. Again, that's not fact. And also, too, Hasbro could Hasbro and say, you know, have their odd reasons about not wanting to sell it. But I think it's just one of those things where, because of the distribution and the market for them here, they just don't want to create any confusion. But I do think that the set will come out here as a bundle, as a full set. So just my thought on it. And then again, you know, going over that whole wave we just looked at. Now, we had the Shizouka Hobby Show over the weekend. And we got some cool stuff there. So they showed off Devistator. And they also showed off a Masterpiece Hauler. So Hauler's one that we really... I've been surprised that hasn't come out sooner, to be honest with you. But yeah, we're finally getting them under the MPG line, and as expected, it's just a repaint of Grapple, which is fine, because if you go back and look at the the E-Hobby one, or I think he was just Grapple in G1. I think that they just had a mix up in the script back in the day. So, and it's also funny too, because they showed off Devistator here with an incomplete resin mixmaster, and we'll get to that in just a second, because that one's a little interesting. Also, at that same hobby show, they had the Lost Light version of the Optimus Machina Rodimus. So, I love this deco. I don't know that I'll get this one. I have the MMC one, but we'll see. We'll see. I do really, really love this deco, and this is a great figure as well. So it really depends on whether or not the price has not gone up too much on Amazon Japan for that, because the way that domestic sites have been selling these, a little tough to stomach. We got a silhouette for the Evangelion crossover. So this looks like it's actually going to be an original mold. Not quite sure what it's going to turn into, whether it's going to turn into a truck or not. I see some wheels here. No idea like what it's going to be stylized like. It looks, from the silhouette, like it's almost like Ava unit inspired, but we shall see. We also get a good look at the Shield D Prime. So that's the Zoids crossover, which is neat. It's being done in a Diaclone scale. And I know this is coming in multiple colors, so I may hold out. I'm not sure how I feel about this blue deco. I might hold out for a red deco, especially if they do the cockpit blue. I think that would look really awesome. But as it stands, this is neat looking. I'd also love it too if they did like a Liger Zero, like an all white deco. I think that would look cool, though they might save that for Ultra Magnus. But I've always wondered why they hadn't done a Zoids Transformers crossover sooner. But given that this is kind of also a Diaclone cross Transformers, and the price of the Diaclone line, this is probably going to be pretty pricey. We also get a look at the Optimus Machina Predaking. Now, we know this is going to be a little bit smaller, but it looks pretty big and pretty substantial all combined up. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near as big as your Zeta combiners. I think this, if anything, will probably be about the size of like the current combiners that Hasbro's doing between Legacy and Age of the Primes. But this is definitely a premium combiner and all painted up. I think this thing looks spectacular. So really going to be curious what the price on this is going to be. That's the scariest part. But I do like it. And again, you can see the top of the Rodimus, the Lost Light Rodimus there. That's our only indication of size. So he's probably, like I said, he's probably going to be about the same size as like Superion and Menasor and the new Devastator. Which, if you do, it'd be so weird to put this in a chug collection, but if you are collecting combiners in that scale, this would probably work there pretty well, to be honest, even though he'd look leaps and bounds better than anything on that shelf. So no price either, but definitely going to be interesting to see what the price ends up being, especially since this thing's due out this summer. Then we also get a look at the Synergex Macross Transformers crossover. This is the Basura Convoy, and all we have is a gray prototype. And I'm not really seeing the Optimus Prime influence here. I was hoping with a Macross crossover we'd get like a proper Jetfire. I'm not too familiar with this Jet or the Valkyrie. This one's definitely going to be like one of those ones where I'm going to need to see reviews, and I'm going to need to see some painted pictures. I do like the fact that this is a completely original sculpt, and it does look neat, but I just have no attachment to the anime. I think that the whole thing with the guitar and all is kind of fun. But you're definitely going to need to see somebody review this thing, and get the price on it's got to be right. Again, as an Optimus Prime collector, I haven't picked up every single Optimus out there. Like I never got that Cannon crossover. I didn't get that Bingo Racing one either. So, and then we also got a look at an eBay seller with a looks to be production run of a Mixmaster. So this person already has I think a YouTube video here. I'm not sure if that is a not sure what's in that video. It's probably just talking about the pictures, which we'll do here. But we get a look at Mixmaster, and as the blurb says, he does look very similar to his Combiner Wars version, which again, the bot mode was pretty tune accurate. But here, the vehicle mode is very tune accurate. We get a look at how he looks, as well as how he stacks up against his Combiner Wars counterpart. And I think he looks pretty good. This time around, you got pinned on wheels. This is going to be a Voyager, even though he's not going to be the biggest Voyager. The Combiner Wars ones were more so kind of like leader scale, big Voyager, almost leader scale. Or I guess I should say modern leader scale. There he is in leg mode. Yeah, the Devastator, as I mentioned, he is more in keeping with that new scale they established in Legacy. Kind of, I guess we'll call it a scaled down combiner scale, but I guess they've also unified them because Devastator and Predaking and Combiner Wars were way out of scale with everybody. But this doesn't look too bad, to be honest. You get a good look at the leg articulations. He's going to have a very good ankle pivot, and the front of the truck looks way better because it's, again, the 80s vehicle mode. Full spin on him. He's Mixmaster. He's what you'd expect. Doesn't look like they came up with any way to really shrink the mixing barrel on his back, but it's also Hasbro. And he's got a little bit of height on Scrapper. But I think he looks pretty good. Deluxe seems to disagree, saying trash. We got John Connors in here. John's also part of Gronk. Good to see you, John. And Megan T-Rex saying Lost Light looks awesome. That price would probably be killer, but I don't have to do that. Hopefully the price isn't too bad. Like I said, Amazon Japan had the original one. Not too bad, and then domestic sites jacked up the price to almost double. I was glad I got mine in with Agabus before the price got jacked up, but yeah. Murray saying the AMT T-Spark Predicators look and aesthetic is supposed to be based off his G1 season episode. Yeah, called The Primitives, which is a very unique animation style. And yeah, it definitely has that aesthetic. I'd love to see them do a Skylynx and a similar aesthetic as well. I think that'd be really cool. I just kind of curious how people are going to fit them into collections, and I'm sure the KO companies will probably upscale it, and then we'll have a new contender for an MP Predaking. Even though those individual beast modes and bot modes, from what we saw, were kind of like, yes, I'm being a bit nice on it. I don't know. I can definitely see the waffling on Scrapper, and the waffling on Scrapper does bother me a bit. I don't see it so much on Mixmaster. And it looks like he might actually have a waist, but I can't tell if they sacrifice the waist or not, just because, you know, the ratchet's there. He probably doesn't have a waist, and that's probably going to be like the worst thing about him, to be honest. But yeah, Scrapper definitely was Waffle City. And moving on for official, we get this one from Infantry. We get these, you know, again, talking about the blind box Blokees. Well, we're getting blind box watches, and Infantry just makes standard analog watches. They're kind of nice. I've never seen them carried before, but you know, all of these I don't think are super tacky or egregious. Now, that being said, like, there's probably like 3 or 4 designs of these that I'd actually want, that being like the Megatron and Prime schematic ones, the faction symbol one maybe, or the, you know, the Optimus Prime here with like the metallic blue and the red grid. So I don't know how I feel about like dropping $60 and getting a design that I don't really care for. Now, on their site, they're currently on sale for $50, and they do have like $55 Japanese inspired ones that are also blind box. But again, like here, I would just really want the Prime, or like the faction symbol one, maybe the Megatron, or, you know, I don't like the idea of a blind box watch, you know. So neat concept, but I think they should just sell the designs that people want individually. I guess maybe they're kind of worried that they'd get stuck with a whole bunch of bumblebees, or, you know, maybe this kind of boring one down here with just like the grid that's kind of like monochrome. Now, if the whole thing was monochrome, if it was like a really subtle Autobot Decepticon insignia, I think that might look better. But yeah, for me, definitely these two here. The Prime one I would get and wear, but since can't just individually buy it, not really interested. Oh, also too, we got a new model kit. This is the Cross Frame Girl. We get a new Girl Optimus kit, and this is from Haname Shimida version of the Cross Frame Girl. It's an interesting looking model kit. I'm sure this is something that Mecha Z will have on his channel. I know there's a market for these. But yeah, I never got the Kotobukiya stuff. This is a neat, cutesy design. But and it also looks like pretty cheap at 8,800 yen. But yeah, it's a thing. And we covered that. And lastly, it looks like Funko is giving more Beast Wars pops. So we got product numbers for the upcoming ones. We've got a Black Arachnia, a Megatron, an Optimus Primal, and a Rhinox Funko Pop. So no pictures yet, but they're supposed to be released under the TV Transformers Classic line, which nobody really seems to know much about. But Beast Wars fans, the Funko's throwing you a bone, I guess. And let's get into our third-party stuff. And Decepticon says never liked wearing watches. I got used to wearing watches for a while, and then since working from home, I don't really wear watches so much. I wear my smartwatch when I go out, and that's mostly like, so if I get a text, if I do go into the office on the rare occasion, I wear it. So if I get a text, I can just kind of check discreetly. I should wear it more because I walk and do cardio a lot these days. So I should probably start tracking, times and all. But yeah, it's something I don't mind, but I fall out of the habit of it pretty easily. All right, we got some fun third-party stuff to wrap the evening up with. More combiner stuff. So first up, from Kang Toys, they are doing a super deformed Volcanicus. So, Kang Toys has done legend scale combiners that are super stylized, and now they're doing super deformed small scale combiners. So if you are into the SD aesthetic and you want something that's like a hyper stylized Volcanicus, Kang Toys has you covered. So so far we just have the gray prototype of their Snarl, but it'll be interesting to see what this thing looks like all combined up. Now, Lucky Cat, they do really neat super deformed figures, and they are doing Steel Kitty, which is a miniature Bruticus, and they already have a Volcanicus and a Predaking out. I'm sorry, I don't think the Volcanicus is out yet, but the Predaking's definitely out. I know a lot of people are loving that figure. So far, we just get a look at the Bruticus. This is up for pre-order now on TF Safari. See if I can open this up in a new tab. Get it better. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, this will all combine from individual robots with individual vehicle modes. And I watched several people review the Predaking, and it looks like a really fun set. For me, no, again, another rabbit hole, but I do look forward to the reviews on these because the engineering on that Predaking was actually pretty cool. Some of the gimmicks in it were really neat. And I really like the design aesthetic they went with for these. This is a really cool looking little desk bot if you're a big Bruticus fan. I see a lot of people picking this up, and it just looks like a really fun set to keep on your desk and mess with. Kang also has a this comes from TM Reviews. This is supposed to be Shrapnel, but it could also be Chop Shop. And it's just a really, really stylized Insecticon. This looks pretty neat. Again, not for me, and it's not really recognizable as the character. But still, I'm glad to see Kang finding success doing something different. They're definitely not giving us stuff that other people are doing. So, pretty cool. This came from TM Reviews Facebook page, so check him out. He does a pretty good aggregate of all the stuff out there, along with Third Party Unlimited. Antoine does a really good job. And where'd my screen go? Got a few more things here. We got from Fans Hobby. I mentioned this last week. They're doing a reissue of their Overlord. And it looks like they're also reissuing the add-on kit, which comes with extra faces, comes with a proper size gun, and the Toon style chess pieces. So I do have this for mine, and highly recommend it. Though I feel like with the reissue, they should have just included this in the kit itself, to be honest. Next, we've got X-Transbots kind of feeling people out here to see what version they want. So they're doing a G1 Slug Slinger, and it's funny because I don't remember him. I don't remember him in the American cartoon, but I do. I know he was more prominent in the Headmasters cartoon. But I would want the Headmasters one. I feel like the black deco, while it looks neat, it would just get too washed out. I think the blue one's the right one to go with. And I'd rather them do the Headmasters cartoon a darker blue, and I think that would be better as a better middle ground between the US and the toy version. So we also get a look at this comes from Third Party Unlimited, his Target Master, which X-Transbots has done Target Masters with Elagos and which was their Cyclonus as well as their Scourge. So this looks pretty similar. I think this looks pretty similar to Nightstick. This looks pretty similar to Cyclonus's. But yeah, they've got him pretty much ready. And lastly, from 01 Studio, we've got pre-orders up for Fortress. This is their Fall of Cybertron inspired Metroplex. So I don't know that they have any details on the size of this thing, but for anybody doing the Gamerverse stuff or collecting the Planet X, I feel like people have been waiting for this for a very long time. I don't think this is going to be 4 foot tall or anything like that. I think that this one's going to be probably more like what Studio Cell does for like their Unicron and their combiners, probably like that, probably like 20-inch, 24-inch tall, probably Titan class size, but still exciting. And I know that there's a lot of people that, like, for them, the War and Fall of Cybertron is like their favorite aesthetic. They really wanted to complete and collect that stuff, and I feel like, especially since we have the Triptychon from Planet X, as well as the Omega Supreme and the Omega Guardian too. They did a repaint there. I feel like there's so many people that are going to want this. And I feel too that, knowing Studio Cell, they're probably going to make this to scale with what already exists. So people that have that Omega and have that Triptychon would feel like, okay, this guy's going to fit right into that Planet X collection. Because Planet X really just kind of gave up, unfortunately. I haven't heard anything new from them other than reissues here and there. So it's cool to see yet another company picking up where they left off, and hopefully we have more details and more than just this render. I'd love to see the base mode, because he didn't transform in the game, so I'm sure they'll probably give him the base mode and as well as the carrier mode. But yeah, definitely cool to see. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of this. Hopefully this is something they give us some panels at TFCon Toronto in the third party panel. So let's catch up with chat. Sepzar saying, yeah, Japanese Slug Slinger in blue is better. I agree. I think that black deco would just make him look like he's like dying, And Mario is saying, apparently on Entertainment Earth, we're getting 2 Hasbro pre-orders. However, don't think one of them is related to transfer. Yeah, never know. And Septizar is saying, yeah, too many stylized Metros lately. We just really like a big G1. Metroplex can't afford it on tariffs. Forget it. Well, I think that with Titan class, it would make sense for Hasbro to do a proper G1 Metroplex as well as a Fort Max. Because I feel like with the Metroplex we got in Thrilling 30, he really just didn't have any. I mean, the Metroplex from Thrilling 30 is stylized. He's kind of a hodgepodge hybrid of the Metroplex we just looked at and G1. He's got sound clips from the game, from Fall of Cybertron, but he doesn't look like the Fall of Cybertron counterpart, at least with the 01 Stealth, the studio one, or the 01 studio one. He's a direct one-to-one of what was in the game. We just need a proper Titan scale Metro, and a G1 at that. I mean, there was that company that did one recently. They also did a Scorponok, but it's just the scale of that one was a little bit off for me, and I don't know. I don't. I like my Thrilling 31, but I would need something to, I need a little bit more to entice me to replace it. Nicotrona saying, get a 3D printer. I didn't like a 3D printer. Unfortunately, I have friends with 3D printers, but I know with a 3D printer, you could do a large-scale Metro. I'm waiting for 3D printers to get to a better point where the lines aren't noticeable, or you don't need as much sanding, or a service does it. I think once you get a 3D printing service that just prints parts that look and feel just like injection molded plastic, I think that's going to be a big game changer. And I think people will start selling stuff as like model kits, like snap together model kits with minimal hardware. I think that'll be a huge game changer for the toy and collectible market, to be honest with you. Back at TFCon, I forget who made it, but I got this add-on kit for my party wallop that was injection molded, and then it came with a toy hack set that was designed just for the parts. If Lance was in the chat, he'd know. But yeah, it's the garage kit stuff is definitely it's getting up there. Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. The Cyan Culture Metroplex was the one that it looks the part, but a little bit too small. And if you got that, then it wouldn't fit in with the other Titans. I don't know. I think Metroplex might get one for Age of the Primes, because I think they really phoned it in with calling Star Optimus Prime a Titan class, because he's really not. Especially since they took $50 off the price. They should have just given him his own SKU. But I think they'll do a redo, and I think that's why we got Trypticon in proper colors this year. So I think they'll revisit Fort Max and Metroplex. They are kind of in a way running out of characters to do. And if they do Metroplex, a G1 Metroplex, then they can do a G1 style Metro Titan. They do Fort Max, they can do Grand Max. They can also do the one from, or was Grand Max the one from RID? They've got repaints if they got repaints they can do if they change it up. So, but with that, I think this is a good place to wrap it up for the evening. We're just over the hour mark, and I appreciate everybody that hopped into the chat tonight, and really enjoyed chatting with you all this evening. And if you're watching me here on the replay squad, really appreciate you. Leave a comment down below. I do get to all the comments. I do respond to them. Let me know if there's anything we showed off tonight that you're looking forward to. If you have any thoughts on the statements from Hasbro, or you're feeling a certain way about it, let me know. I do read the comments. I do interact with you there. If you liked what I did here tonight, hit that like button, because it does help me out in the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight's the night I earn your subscription. So if you do subscribe, make sure you ring that notification bell. We will be getting back to Saturday hangouts. I'm trying to work those out with Lance. And then after my crazy Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to be getting the collection tour video worked out. And we got my doppelganger here. There's a lot of lore with Gronking. So we got Extra Maz in here saying shout out. Good to see you. And yeah, with that, hope everybody has a great rest of their week ahead. Hopefully everybody has a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and hopefully you get the day off. Go enjoy it, have some good food, spend some time with family and friends, and just chill out and relax. And with that, I will see you all same time right here on the Extra Zero YouTube channel, 9 o'clock Eastern. And till then, have a good one. Zero out.